Hello beautiful people, it's Nancy here. Just wanted to ask, how many of you natural hair girls have made mistakes throughout your journey? If you want to have healthy hair in 2019, I've got the tips for you coming up. So I have been natural for the past 4.5 years. And it's been a journey. It's been hard. It's been much harder than I've expected, and I literally have learned so much on what to do with my hair, what not to do with my hair. And I know there's so many girls that will have hair just like mine. So my hair's 4C and it breaks like crazy. Like at the moment I have a lot of breakage all throughout the back, where it's like I've got hair here, there's a massive gap here, I've got hair there. But I have learned so many things. The tips that I'm bringing to you are basically things that I haven't done that I should have done. That if I had done this from 2014, the first time I shaved off my hair, we wouldn't be having this conversation with me in this headwrap situation. I'd be out there with my full afro, but I'm not, because I haven't done these things, which we'll get to in it. This is like my top tip for you to have amazing hair 2019, plus possibly a bonus if you stay till the end. So tip number 1, don't compare yourself to anyone. Like, it's so important to really focus on your hair. Other girls that you see online, people that you know, family members, it just doesn't change anything. Like, if you compare what your hair texture is, what your hair length is, what your hair volume is, like, there's just no point. It just doesn't change anything. Do not compare yourself to anyone, period. Your hair's your hair. It is what it is. Which brings me to tip number 2. Accept the hair that's on your head. Whatever your hair type is, accept it, embrace it, nourish it, love it. Because when you don't accept what your hair is, when you're like complaining that your hair is 4C, I'm gonna say 4C because I'm 4C and I see a lot of 4C girls complain about the texture of their hair. 4C hair is more kinky, more coily, which means that it's more likely to be dry in the state that it's in. Find a way to work it out, which brings me to tip number 3. Do research on your type of hair. Like, what kind of hair do you have? Is it 4C, 4B, 4B? You know that bit. Okay. Are you low porosity, high porosity? Does your hair need protein? Like, do the research to find out exactly what will make your hair thrive. A lot of oils, less oils. Which oils does your hair love? Most of the research that you're going to do is going to be trial and error. You're going to have to buy the products yourself, try it out, test it out on your head. When you find it, stick to it. Really get to find out what makes your hair tick, what doesn't make your hair tick, and work with it. This brings me to tip number 4. What is your diet like? I'm anemic, I have very low iron, I have deficiencies that could be helped, but then that could also affect the rate at which my hair grows. That could just also affect my hair growth journey in general. Like, do you guys have a good diet? Because this truly does play a big factor in things like our skin, our hair. Our diets play such an important factor in this area. Do speak to your doctor to find out if you do have any deficiencies, because that could also be a factor of why your hair isn't growing. And then on top of that, just try and fix the areas that you can fix. Tip number 5 would be to hydrate. I have heard so many girls who have amazing hair, amazing skin. I'm with you guys that struggle to even get 500 mils of water a day. But something that keeps coming up over and over again is water and hydration. It's so important if you want your hair to thrive, you want your hair to be great, is to have the water. Tip number 6 would be to actually have a regimen. So to actually have steps that you take every single day to maintain your hair. So things that I've really found to be helpful for me is, because my hair's 4C, it's so coily, so kinky, I've realized that when I try and do a leave out, or if I try and do wash and go, I have to stretch my hair. It just doesn't work for me to just be cute and wash and go. And that's the thing for me. Like, I need to do a lock method, an LCO method, where I put my leave-in, my cream and my oils. That's my regimen in terms of keeping it moisturized. But there's just so many things that you can do from when you wake up in the morning to when you go to sleep that will really help that journey. This is an area where I struggled so much with, and that I didn't really follow through in the beginning and pretty much my whole journey. I just didn't have a set regimen of what I did Monday to Sunday. And having that really is helpful for you to not only kind of to have a process and have something to kind of follow. It just really just simplifies things. I feel like not having a regimen makes things even harder, because if you know that on Sundays you wash your hair every Sunday, at least you know that you can actually say, okay, I wash my hair once a week, this is what's happened, it's great, continue. It's not great, how about I wash my hair every 10 days? How about I wash my hair in between? How about I do a co-wash or whatever it is? Just really try and find whatever works for you. There's so many tips on Pinterest. There's so many different types of regimens that girls out there do that you can kind of just take and then mold it into your own little thing, and really just voila, like that's just a little extra to help you get to the next level for your hair journey. Tip number 7 would be to really look after your ends. I didn't realize that this was actually a big thing, but I've realized recently, looking at my hair and looking at old pictures, the split ends that you can have as a natural can really make your hair look so damaged. So before you even get to the place of split ends, a lot of people trim their ends and they stay on top of it. But then what happens once you trim the ends? You have to stay on top of it. You really do need to make sure that you're looking after the ends of your hair, because as we all know, it's the oldest part of our hair, so it will also be the weakest part of our hair. So we need to put a lot more focus in the ends of our hair to make the rest of our hair look healthy, if that makes sense. Because I realize my roots always look full, and then you get to the ends and it's just very empty. So one thing that I've tried to do now, that I'm working on doing, is making sure that when I slowly trim my hairs, because I'm not the girl that likes to trim like every 6 weeks. I feel like I need to have a gap to see the growth, but when it's really damaged, then it has to go. But then once the ends are trimmed, just stay on top of it, so that, you know, once it grows nicely into a beautiful round afro. Tip number 8 is your protective style. There are so many styles, there's so much inspiration out there on the internet that you cannot lack in this area at all. And it's also just about keeping it simple, you know, like I go to work and I've struggled and I haven't been creative at all with it. There's just so much that we could do with our hair. There's so many styles. And I think sometimes the issue that I have is I don't want to look like a 4-year-old girl. Like there's so many amazing protective hairstyles that you could do, but you just look young. And sometimes I just feel like I want to be able to have styles where I look like a grown woman, but it's in a protective bun, and I get that, but sometimes you just have to go beyond that and really look at the bigger picture. Protective styles are there to protect your hair, especially your ends. It's for you to be able to go from Monday to Sunday without manipulating your hair so much, without doing too much to it. I don't know if you realize, but the more you do to your natural hair, the more you manipulate and play around with it, the more likely it is to break. So the protective hairstyles are there to kind of help you throughout your journey, that you're strengthening your hair, growing your hair, to not really do too much to it, but to just let it breathe and grow and get all the goodness from your diet, all the goodness from your vitamins and your hydration, and for it to just do its thing and grow. So protective hairstyles all day, every day. There's crochets, there's twists, extensions, like there's just so much out there. Just find whatever works for you that doesn't put so much strain on your hair that your hair just ends up falling out and breaking anyway. But there's just so much out there on the internet that could just help you in this area. Tip number 9 is to wrap your hair at night. For girls that are like natural lazy, coming home after work and then having to sort your life out and get ready for the next day, you want nice hair and it has to be done, but there are ways around it. If you forget to wrap your hair at night, sleep on silk pillows. It's just then about ordering some silk pillows. Just be ready, be prepared. If you know yourself, do whatever you can so that you are sorted, because cotton pillows rub against our hair, which then means that it's more likely for it to break. It's more likely for you again to get really bad split ends, which is not great, which is just not going to help with your hair growth journey. Definitely do wrap your head at night, have that silk pillow. It will help you go a long way. And finally, tip number 10 is simply be consistent. I mean, everything that we've kind of noted, I think they're things that we all kind of know, and I'm sure we all do. Once in a blue moon, I drink 2 to 3.5 liters of water. Twice a week, I'll have my fruit, vegetables when I'm eating my carrot cake. Like, it's these amazing things that we have to do. Like, it's great, we do it, right? But the problem is the consistency in doing it. Drinking 2 liters of water every single day minimum, having fruits and vegetable every single day, sorting out your protective hairstyling, wearing a bonnet before you go to bed, having a regimen that you follow for your hair, not comparing yourself to people. I mean, every single day when you wake up, consistently following these tips is what's going to be your secret to achieve amazing, beautiful, gorgeous hair. But the only secret lies in the consistency. Stay consistent. Bonus tip that I have for you guys is patient. I've learned the hard way that I have to be patient. 4 years have gone since I first chopped off my hair to today. And if I had just started from day one with some tips or done the research before shaving my hair off and just had been consistent throughout the years and just been patient, I wouldn't have, number one, had all the issues that I've had. I would not have had 3 big chops in the 4 years, because I would have just waited for my hair to just push through and to, you know, get to that level of it being truly amazing. But yeah, guys, literally it all comes down to just being patient. If we put the work in, we'll get the results back out. Patience is key when you have natural hair and you're on that journey. So guys, I really hope that that was helpful for you guys. So if you have any tips for me, please drop them down. I'm sure that there's other people that would probably want to know and see these tips that you have. Just let us know in the descriptions down below. But overall, guys, I really hope that was helpful for you guys. If you want to see anything in terms of natural hair, do let me know, give me a shout. I'm more than happy to do some videos. I've got some stuff coming up about styles, etc., which I hope will also be beneficial for you guys. But in the meantime, I hope that you guys have a blessed week, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.